And that is why we are doing this, to create awareness, encourage people that there are other resources you can, follow in order to get treatment to any kind of illness. Honestly, I thank you so much, Dr. Oslam, Dr. Choma. You people are amazing, because there are a lot of things I'm hearing now which I wasn't aware of. This fibroid is one of those things. Even when we did hypertension, I know many people that were going through, they had high blood pressure, but they were afraid, because when they hear high blood pressure, they think that they are dying immediately, and they don't want to say it out, because they think, oh, I have high blood pressure. For that is dead sentence. So this is really a great thing, and we encourage everyone to watch out our video. There are a lot of things they have talked about which will really help you in order to keep your health and well-being going, because our health first. Health is wealth. Once you are healthy, honestly, you have everything to be wealthy. There is joy in health. So when we were talking about fibroid, we also mentioned menopause. This is another interesting topic. Menopause. Menopause. Every one of us will go menopause at some time in our life. And men go menopause.
So yeah,
yeah,
I'm sure they do. Perhaps not to the same degree. For some ladies, yeah, they would, because of course, when you start at a baby, teenage, young adult, parenthood, and then yes, there will be an end. Yeah.
So when they are in menopause, they will not disturb again.
That is another topic.
The topic for another day.
Yes, they do, but not to the extent of.
Maybe
there are some ladies.
Perhaps you see that men, their menopause is prostrate. Because that's another problem they discuss so much in Nigeria. How do I your prostrate? How do I your prostrate? How do I prostrate?
So, oh my goodness. So, menopause.
Yeah. Very big topic.
Very big topic. And I don't think we just take it light. And
okay.
What is menopause? And
well, what is menopause? Yeah. So
pause.
You have a lady, a girl, a baby girl.
Pause.
Pause.
That's essentially what it is.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
Because the baby girl, you grow, you reach puberty, which puberty nowadays can start anywhere from the age of 8 till about age of 12. Most girls would have started puberty, and then that means they're in their fertile childbearing years, and that carries on till about the age of 40. Then that's when you start your perimenopausal. So the changes will start. You start noticing the night sweat or the day sweat, the thinning of the hair, the tiredness, so many symptoms. And the periods becomes irregular. You might miss a month or two, and then you get a heavy one because you've missed 1 or 2. And that carries on, and that, for everybody, that's different. That could carry on, that perimenopausal period would carry on until about 55. Most ladies would have completed menopause, and at that point you do the blood test. Provided they are not taking any synthetic hormone, then the ovarian function will tell you, oh yes, this is well and truly menopause.
Oh, I need to go for
you don't have to have a blood test. No, you don't have to have a blood test to confirm menopause. So in simple terms, a lady under the age of 50 and you've not had a period for 2 years, that is menopause, and you're not pregnant, that is menopause. But above the age of 50, anybody age 50 and above, no period for 1 full year. Again, not taking any hormone, not pregnant, that is menopause. You don't have to do a blood test to confirm.
Okay.
No, you go with the symptoms. And the major symptom is lack of period.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're not getting there and they're not taking any hormone that would disrupt and leads to no period, because certain hormone will make you not have a period. The contraceptive pills, that's what I'm talking about if I'm saying hormone. Should be clear. Yeah, provided the lady is not taking any contraceptive pill and not had a period and not pregnant, then yes, they would have.
But some women might go menopause early. What might be the cause?
Yeah, that one is that. So under the age of 40 and going through menopause, that's a different term. We call it early menopause. You do need investigations then, because often those ladies would have come to their doctors because they are struggling to conceive. They've tried for 12 good months solidly and they're not able to conceive and probably not having any period. Then yes, you then need to do the blood test, which will tell you whether the person's ovaries, you mentioned the ovaries, whether the ovaries are working normally. The blood test, you're measuring certain female hormones specifically, which is your estrogen, your FSH and your LH. I'm just going to give you the abbreviations here.
Oh my goodness. We have also entered medical terms.
Let's keep it simple.
Simple.
So under the age of 40 and not having regular cycles, not having regular periods, you need to go and see your doctor to be investigated to check what is going on. So menopause under the age of 40 is termed as early menopause. But from 40 and above, yes, that is, it can happen from anywhere then onwards.
Okay. But if one notices that she has early menopause, is there anything she can do in order to reverse it?
No. Simple terms. Well, you have to put it into context. Not having, as a lady, you don't have to have a period every month to be healthy.
Okay.
It's not necessary. It only becomes important when you're trying to conceive, because that's your clock to see when will be your most time to be successful. What period in that month where if you then be intimate with your partner, you have a better chance of conceiving. That is really when you need your period to help you monitor, because it's easier for you to know when it's my period or not, compared to having to do blood tests to check what your hormones are doing. That is really the main use for the cycle. Outside of that, provided you're not trying to be pregnant, it doesn't really matter whether you have a period or not. It's not necessary. Yeah. So, if a lady then comes and say, yeah, have I started menopause? You need to do a proper history taking. Have they noticed any symptoms? So with menopause, there are several symptoms, which the most common one most people will talk about is the sweating. They're sitting here and suddenly the sweat is pouring out and you just don't know what to do. We're not just talking about, I feel a little bit hot. It's really like somebody has sprayed the shower on you, it's dripping, it's pouring. And then that lasts and it finishes. So, and that happens several times.
What is really the cause of that?
It's the things that are changing your body, your hormone, how your body is regulating because of the hormonal changes. That's what happens. That's one of the symptoms you get.
Put it this way mildly. By the time you start going into puberty, the ovaries have a lot of eggs. Okay? And that egg production continues. Okay? What is menstruation? Once you get to the age, because you start your puberty, you get to the stage where your menstruation will start. It's just that the eggs are shed, then you have loss of the lining of the womb, then the mucus. That's your menstruation. Okay? And then the hormonal pathway is still there, and the eggs are being produced. So in your childbearing years, you're at the peak of that egg production. Okay? then you start hitting into your 40s. The egg production begins to dwindle. So what it means is that those eggs and the hormones that feeds into those eggs, when it starts dwindling, you begin to lose those hormones. And that is what's causing all these problems Chioma described. You begin to lose your hair, the sweat, dryness in your front passage, and irritability for no reason, and tiredness, and fatigue and all. So the eggs start going down there till there's nothing there. And then when you don't have the estrogens, you start to talk about the bones and the protective role that the estrogens have, because once it's not there, then it becomes more of a problem because there's nothing to protect your bones. And that's where you begin to talk about osteoporosis, which is another discussion for another day.
Yeah.
But essentially, if there are medical conditions that can give you premature menopause, you can have somebody in their 20s going into premature menopause because for whatever reason, the ovaries, which is the main organ, takes a hit from whatever and cannot produce those estrogens. You see somebody in their 20s having the effects of menopause that young. I mean, if it's somebody getting towards the winter years of their life, clearly you're expecting it's going to happen anyway. I don't think back home people bother so much with this HRT and that kind of storyline. But here, there's a lot of intervention, and there's a society, menopause society, and HRT, and that T and that T. But essentially, it's just to give you a lower dose of those things your body is not making to protect. And that's essentially what it is. It's just a lady's physiological circle. You peak, start puberty, childbearing age, perimenopausal time, menopause. Then you stay and in the winter years when you wear your jam stood for hours a day. Not do anything.
Yeah. Yes, please.
It happened years back. I went to the hospital, and in the gynecology section of the hospital, I saw a 90-year-old woman admitted inside the same section of the department. So a friend of mine was admitted there. So I asked her what the woman was doing inside the hospital. So she told me that the woman had been seeing her menses 90 years after menopause for 2 consecutive months. So the children brought her to the hospital to see. So my question is this: at the age of 90, can someone after 40 or 30 years of not seeing her menses reverse back to see her menses back?
If you have postmenopausal bleed, it is cancer of the group otherwise. And more this. Anybody, any woman that has gone through menopause, and then after some years you start bleeding, you have a malignancy somewhere. Okay? And the thing about most of those malignancies, especially the ovarian, even the uterine cancer, is that they do not present early. By the time they present, it has spread already. And the prognosis is really poor. What you might notice much later is this postmenopausal bleed you've described. The tiredness, the weight loss, the ascites, the tummy starts swelling up because you're then having malignant fluid accumulating in the abdomen. And it's really, really not good news. Does he answer you?
Yeah, thank you, doctor.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay.
So you were asking whether you did ask if having gone through menopause, can it be reversed? So this is really one of those scenarios where a woman has gone through menopause, not had any bleed for so many, say, even if it's 5 years, for example, and then they start bleeding. That needs investigating. It has to be cancer until proven otherwise. Because once you've gone through the menopause, your ovaries have finished. They've finished their work. They've packed in. It doesn't revive itself. The body doesn't work like that. So, can the effect of menopause be reversed? Yes, it can be reversed. Those symptoms that we're talking about, the hot sweat, the dryness, the thinning of the hair, irritability, tiredness, those can be reversed, provided you've checked to rule out other things. Bearing in mind, symptoms generally can be common and there could be so many causes of those symptoms. It's not just menopause. So it's always good to check, make sure you've ruled out other things that can be managed other ways. Stuff like thyroid problem, diabetes, iron deficiency. Once you've ruled out all of that and you know that yes, this is menopause, what can you do? It depends on the symptom really. It's a natural way, it's a natural thing that happens to the body. Every woman will go through menopause at some point in their life. It's not a disease, and therefore we don't have to do anything, provided you're living a healthy lifestyle, maintaining a good weight, drinking enough fluids, exercising to maintain your bone health, and you don't really need to do anything. If you can put up with those symptoms, I know most people will come and seek help over here. It's the hot flushes that drives them to come and seek help, or the dryness, where the dryness is affecting intimacy with their partners, then they would come and seek help. Other than that, the other symptoms, if you can put up with it, you don't really have to take anything. And if you're told you need to take something, you would often say, make sure you've reduced things that will make the symptom worse. So for us Africans, African lady, your spicy food, your pepper, because you're eating the pepper, you're going to be sweating. Then it will add, if you have problem with sweating already, it's going to make it worse. Alcohol, yeah? Caffeine. If you're over here, because of the cold weather, we get used to drinking tea and coffee. So perhaps going for decaf teas and coffees, or going for the fruit teas, which again, you're getting the liquid but without the caffeine. Not smoking, hopefully. I think luckily I can confidently say most of our African ladies don't smoke that much compared to the Caucasians, yeah. So because smoking will make you have the other symptoms, plus increase the risk of cancer anyway. And you eating your balanced diet, lots of fresh fruit and veg, drinking plenty of water. A lot of people can manage with doing just simple things like that. If, however, then you need something a little bit extra, perhaps starting with some herbal remedies. So the herbal remedies we mentioned before, it's primarily to try to help some of those menopause symptoms, not like fibroid. And over here we have got evening primrose, yeah. We've got Menopause, and these are all available over the counter. Yeah, black cohosh, there could be other, but the simplest thing, go to any pharmacy over here and ask what is the common menopause remedies, and you try. If at all then that helps, or it doesn't help, that then determines, do you need something more prescribable? This is where your HRT, the hormone replacement therapy, comes in. Of course, you've got to balance it with that person in front of you. What is their risk and what is their benefit? Because hormone therapy comes with certain risk, increased risk of cancers, blood clot, high blood pressure, stroke. So you've got to balance, weigh it up to then decide, is this the best thing for this person sitting in front of me? I don't think HRT is that popular back home. No, luckily. Good. Yeah.
I think people just get on with the menopause symptoms back home.
I don't even remember my mom complaining of anything.
People just get on with it.
Yeah, I haven't heard people back home complaining.
Get on with
They
it.
just get on with it. There are enough things to stress you, not to talk about.
I suppose the weather is that hot over there anyway.
You would even take notes.
Which one is menopause? Which one is heat?
Another important question: does menopause affect, your sexual?
Yeah, libido. Yes. I think over here primarily a lot of ladies, that is the main problem really. Some of them will say, I can put up with the hot flushes, it's not that bad. It's the effect on my libido and it's starting to affect relationship. Husband is becoming impatient. And then that will push them to seek help. And if it's to that point, then yes, that's when you would then weigh up what is the person's risk of going on HRT to try to correct some of those symptoms. Because that and another thing with the libido you're talking about, if the dryness is making it very painful to be intimate, then of course the person wouldn't want to. So which is where the dryness, you don't necessarily have to have the oral HRT. You can have cream HRT that can be rubbed on to reduce the dryness. Or even the simple moisturizers that are available over the counter that aren't hormone based. There are dedicated specific lubricants, moisturizers. For the ladies that they can apply daily. Just buy it over the counter, and for some people that helps, and that's all they use. But if that doesn't help, then you can prescribe them the cream HRT to apply on their private parts to help.
But not inside the dryness, just outside.
The pessary and cream. You insert inside. Because if the dryness is inside, then you've got to insert the cream or the pessary inside and then rub some on the outside. That's the HRT or the moisturizer, the simple moisturizer. But for the hot flushes where they've tried everything, the HRT is either by tablet or the gel. There are some gel or some plasters you can stick on your skin, or the gel you rub on your skin, or you take the tablet by mouth.
And I think men still need to be considerate, in this situation.
It all comes down then to the relationship between the two, the lady and the partner. Because if the understanding is there, some of them they would come to you and they say, yes, he's been very patient, but he's becoming impatient now because it's taking too long, which you can then, see what you could do to help.
Awesome. We've discussed about menopause, fibroid. We had wanted to move into pregnancy, but I think that will be another discussion.
What's that?
Pregnancy.
Family planning and
Pregnancy, So it's a long discussion. We move into cancer. So we will talk about breast cancer first. So Doc, please. We'll start with Dr. Choma.
So when you talk about cancers, I suppose specifically to women, since it's women's health we're talking about, I suppose breast cancer will be the most common. Most common, and if then you talk about the other types of women-specific cancers, so which is where you then talk about your cancer of the womb, cancer of the cervix, and cancer of the ovaries. Okay, so breast cancers. So how would you start? Ladies, from the age of, I would say 30, let's say 30, it's good, not even 30 really. If, any lady of childbearing age, let's put it that way, it's proper. Any lady of a childbearing age should have a habit of checking their breasts regularly. And when regularly, how often is regular? I suppose every 4 to 6 months you check your breasts, and by checking you know what feels normal for you, because we are all different shapes, different sizes, different textures. So when you check yourself, then you get used to what is normal. Then it's easier then for you to say, this doesn't feel like this, or this doesn't look like this, and then you go and seek help. So when you check your breast, it's advisable to do it ideally when you're having your bath or your shower, because with wet skin, wet fingers, you're using the pulp of your fingers and you're feeling all round. And so by feeling that way, you know this feels normal for you. Therefore, when it's abnormal, then it's easier for you to say, okay, this doesn't feel right. And what can be abnormal? It's either how the skin looks. The skin starts looking puffy or feeling like it's full of fluid, like orange skin. We call it orange, we even call it orange skin in simple medical terms. Or you're looking at the skin, when you move, instead of the breast, the shape, you feel like some places are pulling in. Therefore, what is making it to pull in? You look at the nipples. If you're not breastfeeding, as long as you're not breastfeeding, there should be no leakage from the breast. And that leakage could be maybe clear liquid or milky or blood stained. Therefore, that needs looking at. Or when you feel for the lumps, and bear in mind there are different types of lumps. If you identify a lump, then you need to go see a practitioner to then have further tests to determine, is this a worrying lump or is it just a simple cyst? There are different types of lump. By doing the test, then you will be able to know which is cancer and which isn't. Another thing then is to feel your armpit. So for ladies, because of how the body is, we have the lymph nodes around the neck, in the armpit and in the groin area. So for breast, the lymph node, which is part of our immune system, drains into the armpit and some into the neck. So it's important as well to check your armpit. If you feel any lump there in a lady of childbearing age, or particularly the older menopausal ladies, it's important you go and see your doctor to get that lump looked at.
Oh. Dr. Salah, okay, Doc. Is there anything you... Chema has described the signs, symptoms to look out for. In particular, when you feel a lump that is not painful. Because it's usually a painless lump. Okay? When the nipples suddenly retract, or you're discharging from the nipples when you don't breastfeed, as she said. Then the other one, they play the orange. When suddenly you just have this, like orange skin. You just see something that looks as if it's swollen without those kind of holes you have in an orange. Those ones, you should get a medical review when it happens. You should get a medical review. To an extent, one would like to believe that cancer of the breast is not that common. You do have benign lumps, the fibroadenomas in the breast as well. Those ones are usually not painful, but you just feel multiple lumps in the breast. But I think the thing to take out of this is for women to get into the habit of examining themselves to see if there's any abnormal lumps that they can palpate. Do it fairly regularly, because if you then feel a lump, then ask a qualified person to review you and take it on from there.
Oh my goodness. Have you heard it?
Another symptom, I suppose, if you're talking about cancer generally, other symptoms to look out for is weight loss, where you're not dieting, you're eating the same amount of food, you're not doing any more exercise than normal, and you've lost 5 kilos about suddenly, when you've not changed anything in your lifestyle, and then you've lost this weight. So you need to ask why. Or you're feeling tired all the time. No, if you've had a busy day, busy week, yes, you'll be tired, but hopefully if you have a good night's sleep, you wake up in the morning, you should be feeling refreshed and have your energy back. But if that's not the case, you've had a good night's sleep, come 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you're struggling to keep your eyes open, then you should be asking yourself, why are you experiencing this level of tiredness? That needs looking into. What other symptoms do you notice with cancer? Talked about weight loss, tiredness, talked about the lump in the breast, lump in the armpit. Yeah.
Oh.